I loved his heavy glasses for some reason.
Mm.
Like, this is a serious person. Like, he is not whimsical. Welcome to Popcorn Moms, the podcast for parents who love their kids most but loved movies first. We're your co-hosts, Stephanie
and Netta, two movie lovers turned moms. Join us as we reconnect with the things that make us whole outside of parenthood, namely watching movies. And today's movie is Black Bag, a 2025 American spy thriller film directed by Steven Soderbergh. Which is a name I will get comfortable with eventually, and written by David Cope. It stars Cate Blanchett, Michael Fassbender, a whole bunch of other people. In the film, British intelligence officers George Woodhouse, played by Fassbender, is assigned to investigate a list of suspected traitors, one of whom is his wife, Catherine, played by Blanchett. And this pick was Stephanie's. So,
Yes.
Steph, why did you choose this movie?
Well, I'd seen it advertised some time ago and put it on my to-watch list, but the mood was never right. And then gearing up for this movie club, as we haven't picked in some time, it was like, well, what do we feel like? I don't know. My mood was all over the place, and I just wanted something I hadn't seen before and was willing to take a shot, roll the dice. So here we go. I chose Black Bag. Who doesn't love a spy thriller?
Did you like it?
I don't know. Did you?
I did. I mean, it was.
I did. I think I feel the same. I did.
I enjoyed it. I think it was like, it's not on my list of favorites or anything.
No.
And it's not necessarily what I expected. Like, I'd seen the ads. I'd wanted to see it. Like, I saw the trailer.
Okay, yeah. Like, what was your, like, pre me picking this? Had you heard of it?
I had wanted to watch it.
Good. Okay.
But it was one where I guess I knew enough to know that there could be spoilers, and I actively avoided knowing as much about it as possible.
Oh, interesting.
And then it's been quite a while since I saw the trailer, so I kind of forgot everything anyway.
Mm.
So I went into it like kind of blind. I was expecting it to be more of like an active spy thriller, like for there to be more action, but I was kind of down for the ride, whatever it was. I feel like it's a movie where there's like a lot you can unpack, but like, yeah, what it is in terms of like, I guess what you could write an essay about it and all the things we can talk about it. And then there's like the experience of watching it.
Yes,
and
I agree.
I feel like the experience of watching it was like great. I really liked it. I feel like the essay you could write about it is maybe richer than the watching experience, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Like, I think I was very excited to talk about it, but not like in some cases we're so excited to talk because we love the movie so much. And there's just so much. I think this one, like, I'm excited to talk about because there's a lot of depth of things that you can talk about. I have a few problems with it. And so those would be interesting to talk about. And like, I agree with you. It was like entertaining to watch for the exact time that it was playing, which was an hour and 34 minutes. It was a shorter film, which I think was good, although maybe they could have done a better job with a little more shot. I don't know. There was many things. It was just off. Like, things were off for me. I would give it a solid 6.5.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
6.5. Okay.
Yeah, because well, maybe I'll change my tune by the end of this.
No.
There are things that I quite enjoyed. Like, Sean looked at me 20 minutes in and he was like, "Are you liking this?" And I was like, "Yeah, like, I'm here for it." But there was just some things. It was like it could have been a lot better, but it was still entertaining for an evening.
Okay. So what? I'm very curious why. What was off about it for you?
Like, do you feel like there was things that were off, or you don't feel like that?
Not necessarily, but I also I feel like I'm going to change my mind by the end of this conversation more than you will. Maybe the one thing that, like, I sitting here like 24 hours after having watched it, I'm not sure I can explain to you what happened.
I also watched it 24 hours ago. Really? Right? There's holes.
Well, that's the thing. I remember afterwards, and I think I
jumps.
wrote some of them down where I was like, why didn't they just do this much simpler
Yeah.
thing and blah, blah.
It's weird.
But if you were to ask me now to explain the ending, I might be able to, but I'm not confident that I've gotten it right.
Okay, see, that's a problem. That's a problem. Because like the ending of these type of movies are supposed to be like the punchline, like the moment.
Yeah.
And so if you can't if you don't get it,
Yeah.
kind of a problem.
Maybe this is going to be a difference in our viewing experiences, which is it didn't necessarily land for me, but
Yeah,
I'm not
same.
sure that I mind that much.
Yeah,
And I feel like
same.
that's where the subjectivity comes in and like all the other parts of the movie, like how stylish it is and blah blah blah.
Oh,
Like
it's so stylish.
so stylish.
Oh, I loved it. That part of it.
Yeah. Did it feel like Okay, but I want to hear from you though. Like what didn't work? What was off?
Okay, so the thing that drove me absolutely, we swear, ape shit was the score. This score to me was so wildly incongruent with what the tone that I think they were trying to strike. It's like they could not decide, and it was driving me bananas the whole movie. So the movie starts and it's like, ooh, this is clearly going to be stylized. This is like serious. This is like intrigue type spy films, right? Like tradecraft and interest and all this stuff. And then you get this like 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 it's Steven Soderbergh, right? So that's Ocean's 11, like he did the Ocean's 11 movie. So you get that score, which is like
caper
fun, like zesty, like I'm snapping if that's not coming through. That lighter tone with the quippy lines. So there was, on one hand, you get like stylish, sleek. It kind of felt like the vibes were like original Mission Impossible, where there's a team and there's subterfuge and who done it, but serious. And then on the other side, you have this fun, quippy banter and caper style score. And I'm like, what is going on here, man? It was driving me nuts. Like, it made me think about The Third Man and the Zither and how much you hated that.
Yeah.
This would be a bajillion percent probably one of my most hated scores in a movie.
Wow.
Because I feel so strongly about it. I actually really, really feel, for me, if the score was different, I would feel a lot differently about the movie. Okay, I'll say this. I really like when composers and scores have a bit of a signature. You can tell. You can always tell when it's Hans Zimmer or Tyler Bates or something like that. But this was too much exactly like Ocean's 11. Like when it takes you too much there, like it kind of screws up the tone.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think this is like part of the issue when things are very stylized, is that the risk is that it takes you out of it, right? The movie had a number of highly stylized elements, right? So I think what would be like the production design, like the sets and the lighting, and which I want to talk about, and the score. And I don't know, it felt to me like all of that stuff melded together, except maybe not the score, except I didn't notice it. So, maybe for me it was fine.
I know. I feel like we've talked about scores in movies before when they're like mismatchy, when they add, and when they're noticeably excellent, and then times when it's like you don't notice. Like I feel like that's kind of a good thing. This one I noticed immediately, and it detracted from all those other really good stylish things. I didn't know what tone was being tried to because you know how there's couple spy thrillers and some of them are like fun and upbeat and action packed and silly and sweet, and then some are like heavy and serious and like, ooh, like that's what I thought this one was trying to go for with all those elements, but then the score and some of the like quippy stuff was the other, and it was weird for me.
That's fair. I mean, I think it did feel like, on the one hand, this kind of like spy thriller type thing with like international intrigue and blah blah blah, and like signet and get the satellite and then all of that stuff. But then it also felt like a play, and like
it felt like a play. I know, I was gonna say that too. Yeah,
right. And like
Mhm.
it had that kind of vibe of being uh like a relationship drama, right?
I know.
With the 4 or the 3 couples gathered together at the
Mhm.
beginning and then at the end for the dinner party.
Mhm.
I just thought, "Oh, is the whole movie gonna be this one dinner
I had the
party?"
same thought. I
Which is sort of like it is kind of a weird fit with spy thriller.
You think? Because I feel like a lot of the, like, film noir style, isn't a lot of that
Mm,
so static? Usually in,
yeah,
like, with the voiceover in the detective's office, and she comes in, and you know what I mean? And, like, this
yeah,
had flavors of that. Like, it's a spy thriller, but people aren't, like, swinging off of buildings and stealthily, like, crawling through air
yeah,
ducts.
yeah.
Like, it's more about, like, the intelligence side of things,
Mhm.
and so I feel like it could have lent itself to, like, a play. Like,
Okay,
I don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I hear you. Hmm.
Like, so much of it takes place at their home.
Yes. Yeah. Which and I think this has been done. But this thing of like, working for like a secret service organization as a metaphor for marriage is always
What?
like, isn't that what's going on here? Like, isn't that kind of like this thing of like secrecy and lies and right? And just all the stuff about infidelity is such a huge thing, right? Like
Yeah.
betraying your partner and betraying your country and like
Oh, interesting.
all of that. I felt like this was Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but serious, right?
Where the idea of, like, the couples and, like, them as a couple intersecting with the larger plot, I think that could have been done a lot better.
Okay, say more.
I feel like the movie was shorter, and I think they could have been it feels almost like scenes were ripped from it,
Mm,
like, kinda haphazardly. Like, that could have really developed the characters more so that you care. Like, maybe this is one of those movies too that, like, I didn't find myself caring
mm.
about any character, and maybe that's fine. Like, it's more about, like, what's the truth here, but I almost also, like, don't know how much I cared about the truth because they didn't do a good job of setting it up. It's maybe, like, 3 or 4 minutes in that it's like, "Boom, here's a list. Your wife's on the list." And he's like, "Okay."
Yeah, I mean, I think that their relationship is sort of built up over time throughout the movie. So you're not necessarily given that like um they have just this like super solid relationship right off the bat or it takes some time to kind of build up what that actually means or how much that means and how much it's not the kind of like spy thriller relationship drama that's like, well, you expect this person might betray you eventually because you
Mhm.
don't ever really know who's sleeping
Yeah.
beside you
Mhm.
when you are, working in the kind of secret intelligence services.
Mhm.
And so you kind of have to learn over time that actually no, they are monogamous, they choose each other, da 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 da
Mhm.
da da dum, and how big of a deal it is. I think it kind of helped add to the intrigue in the sense that like you're not necessarily going into it from the beginning thinking um that like how solid their relationship is. The trade-off is that what's at stake in it is maybe a bit less because you're not
Mhm.
thinking like, "Oh, this would be such a huge betrayal."
Mhm.
You're kind of introduced to her as a suspect.
Yes, which I think is fine. I don't think it's a problem that you're introduced to her as a suspect right off the bat. I just feel like they show you their relationship over time, but it's not like I don't know, I'm trying to figure it out. There was just the depth of, like, their closeness that I was missing.
You know what I think okay. I think the way the movie is kind of structured or the way their arc and the kind of revealing of their relationship is that like the scene where she comes back from Zurich,
Mhm.
Freddie tells her,
Mhm.
George is onto you or we have some kind of plotting going on
Mhm.
in a way that's like, they're not having an affair, but it's kind of styled after an affair where, it's like these
Mm.
two who are trying to hide something from the husband and blah,
Yes.
blah. And she gets into bed with him and their backs are away
Yes.
from each other. They don't say anything to each other. And then she says, or one of
Yeah.
them basically opens it up and just says, I think we're being set up, or I think you're being set up, or I'm being set up, or whatever. And that kind of is a bit of a reveal moment for
Yes.
how close they are.
Yes. I feel like that is actually like the interesting reveal and twist of the movie, that like actually they're going to trust each other first before everyone. And I just feel like there wasn't, maybe that's it. There just wasn't enough build up to that moment.
Going back to your score commentary, when I think about it, it's like there wasn't necessarily as much tension at that point as there
Yes,
could have
right?
been. And it's kind of like,
Yeah.
why not? I mean, all the characters are
Right?
very terse. It is that very kind of
Yes.
like heightened, stylized design around them. And I wonder if actually the score is what
Yes.
failed to rev it
Yes.
up.
Yes. There was no, yes, Netta, that's it. Like,
Just blame it all on the
there's
score.
The score is the downfall of this movie. Yes, because like looking around, it's like all sorts of tension. Even their house, it's so moody, it's brooding, it's exuding like the richness of all these rich people with no children and all the moody homes. And then the score is like it's like what? There's no tension. It doesn't add. And you're right. Like that scene when they turn to each other, tension did not get to a point. It was kind of like it only took them like a day and a half to figure this out. Like, and the consequences are like, wow, like I don't know. Like it was not as impactful, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can see it. I can see that.
Like there wasn't enough mistrust sown for them to overcome that mistrust to then turn to each other.
Right. For it to be kind of a twist that actually neither of them were actually mistrusting each other.
Yeah, and like to show the depth of a relationship. Like, ooh, he found a movie stub and thought maybe she lied about the movie stub, but then later was like, that's amateur. Of course you wouldn't lie about a movie stub. So actually, like, what then? Like, I don't know, but like there wasn't enough
tension
of
build
them being pit against each other for it to show maybe the depth of their relationship to then.
Right, because there is that whole thing of like when he does do the satellite redirect, blah, blah, and he's telling the younger woman, you know, what it takes to have a relationship or to have a marriage with somebody else in this line of work. And though, I mean, the main takeaway I think from that whole spiel, it was like, you put each other first. You basically, you have to be trustworthy and the other person has to be trustworthy, and you reward that trustworthiness with absolute loyalty.
Yes.
Where he's saying it, you absolutely believe him that he thinks this, that he is motivated by protecting her and not by actual suspicion, or if he does suspect her of having done something or of having, you know, betrayed the country, that he is still going to act in her best interests above all else.
Yeah, and maybe that is what is detracting from maybe like the intrigue of the movie, is that like it's not necessarily about like a husband trying to like suss out his wife. And then choosing his kind. It's about him like trying to figure out so he can protect her. That is like less interesting.
Right, there's not like the inner conflict. Like he's very clear the whole time.
Yeah, like I got to figure this out to protect her. It's like, okay, cool. Like, is he feeling betrayed? No, he's not talking. Like, he just wants to like help her, I guess. Is that boring?
It might be boring. I mean, it's kind of nice.
I don't know.
I think maybe some of this is also like, I think that it is difficult to find movies with good marriages in them. And so I think maybe I just appreciate it. I just appreciate a movie with a good marriage, and it's nice. It's just nice.
I guess.
I'm just like, no.
I don't know. Is it a good marriage if they're still suspecting each other and keeping secrets from each other? Like, I know that's part of their like bag or whatever, but he's still like sneaking into her office and spying on her with satellites and slinking around. I don't know. Is it a good marriage?
I think that there are aspects of a marriage that are highlighted in this, let us say. And I think that there are some. Okay, here's a question that I had, or like a kind of a theme or a thing that kept recurring. which is like this very fine line. Or sometimes I felt like this movie drew a very like strong line between privacy and secrecy, and other times it felt like there was no difference between them at all. There's an aspect to their marriage which is about like, you know, understanding that they are going to have secret, or that they
Yeah.
need a certain amount of privacy for their
Mhm.
work. They can't
Mhm.
tell each other where they're going on their sort of, business trips.
Yeah.
um they have this black bag idea, to say, it's in the black bag, we can't talk about it.
Mhm.
But then there's other times where it's clearly, where, privacy and secrecy are clearly very, very blurred. So like when he effectively blackmails the younger woman into helping
Yes.
him by saying,
Mhm.
"Well, I will protect your privacy." As in, I
Mhm.
will not tell
I will
your
not spy on you.
boyfriend.
Yeah.
Well, like, I won't tell your boyfriend that you took E and like slept
Mhm.
with a bunch of people.
Mhm.
Like, there's clearly that's not pr- just, professional privacy. There's secrecy going on there.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I just felt like this movie wasn't, or this sort of ambiguity between those two things was definitely kind of highlighted. But sometimes it was like a very
Mhm.
clear line between them, and other times not at all.
Do you think like that, like, is that why and how like they stand out as a couple? It's almost like they have agreed upon these are the things that we will not share. These are the things that will go in the black bag. Like this is where we can have secrecy or privacy, whatever. But like everything else is on the table. Whereas like other couples around that table seem to falter because things like that got really blurred.
Yeah, infidelity I think comes up so much in this movie.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's just kind of like the most brazen form of lying and
Yes. Yeah.
cheating and
Mhm.
betraying your partner. But there are obviously other ways to do so as well. And so their kind of insistence on like monogamy, that they
Yeah.
are, that they don't lie, which is also like, again, his thing where like, he doesn't like liars, but like
Mhm.
he's in this business where he
That's
has to
what
lie.
I know, that's, like,
Everybody
what's
around him has
bugging
to lie.
me.
His wife, like, yeah, there's kind of this weird contradiction there where he's so absolute on this,
Mhm.
and yet it's not really clear how that can be the case.
Yes, I think that bothered me a lot. He's kind of put up as this, like, super moral compass, serious, the guy who decides, and it's like, you're still in this business of lying. You and your wife, call it secrecy, privacy, whatever, don't share everything with each other. Like, his whole like, the whole first half of the movie when he's, like, trying to figure out her situation, he's lying to her.
Right, and it's like, if he really trusts her, why doesn't he just.
I know. Okay. So I was going to say this and then we started talking about the secrecy privacy, but I think what bothers me so much about them as a couple and how this movie is framed, it's bigger than just like, oh, how they're shown. This is where I feel like they didn't lean in one way or the other. Is this a movie about a couple who works in this field and trust is shaken and he is now suspecting her and diving into suspecting her, and like the foundations of trust are going to be eroded over the course of the movie? How exciting. Or is this a movie about a couple who is so tight that even like larger plots at play and people cannot shake their bond? And I feel like we get flavors of both, and that is what is bothering me.
Right. Okay, I hate this expression because I don't think it makes any sense, but it's this thing of like, have your cake and eat it too kind of a thing, where they
Yes.
want to be able to both have this super tight couple, but also have the intrigue of distrust within the movie.
Yes, they're trying to do, it's like too much. It's like pick one or the other. And as the movie goes on and it gets revealed that they like are very aware that there's like this larger plot, it's like I don't know, I had a hard time believing that some of their actions prior to that were actions they would actually take based on how these characters are talked about as being so competent and smart and leaders in this field.
Mm,
I don't know. I think it would have been more interesting one way or the other if she was actually doing this and trust is slowly be eroded and how could this happen and blah 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 blah. And I think it would be more interesting as right from the hop you see how tight they are and they jointly have to work together. to figure this out.
I mean,
I don't know. Or they just do a better
maybe.
job at framing both up.
I mean, I will grant you that like this movie did not execute as well
Yeah.
as it needed to in order to pull off this kind of hybrid thing.
Yes. Okay, yeah.
I'm with you on that. I still think it's a really interesting idea, though, this kind of middle of the line. I think what this movie wanted to do above anything else was explore certain ideas about marriage
I
and what
think you're
it
right.
takes to have
Mhm.
a good, like a really great marriage over the long term. And it kind of prioritized that above,
A spy thriller. And maybe
above.
that's why I'm so upset. I wanted a spy thriller.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't want a metaphor for marriage, trust and secrecy and fidelity and lies and truths.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I do think you're right. Like
But
that comes to the forefront throughout the movie, right? Relationships, friendships, marriages, what's at the core of these things? How do they function?
and maybe this is why I like it this much, such that like all of the kind of flaws and the ways that the plot and the decisions that people make aren't super consistent with what we're told. Like maybe because I'm okay that I didn't get that spy thriller. I wasn't necessarily like
Mm.
looking for like I wasn't necessarily like this is what I want right now. I was kind of like happy with, whatever movie was put in front
Okay,
of me.
yeah.
And also because again, I think it's pretty rare to have a movie about a good marriage. And
Mhm.
I think it's hard to make a good marriage interesting in a movie.
Yeah.
So I was kind of into a movie about a good marriage.
Good marriage in the like spy world.
Yeah, or like but again, I think because the the reason to put it in this spy world is to bring up these themes of like loyalty, honesty, transparency.
Yes.
Like how do you operate as a partnership or as an organization where like transparency and full honesty is not possible?
Mhm.
How do you have a kind of trusting solid, strong relationship when you also need privacy? I just think that like the answer that this movie came up with, which I think only works when there are no kids in the picture, is that like just adoration.
Mm.
You put your partner on a pedestal and you adore them. And that's what keeps it strong.
Mm.
And there's a kind of like
Yeah.
I think that's where like I don't know. I think that's where the eroticism of it comes from.
Ooh.
Like, right? Like their
Mhm.
chemistry and when
Yes,
he's
they had
like
great
giving that
chemistry.
spiel, when he's giving that spiel to the younger woman and she's like, "Oh, that's hot." It's
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
what's hot about it is like the adoration aspect
Yeah.
of it, which really does not I think work so much when you have kids together. I feel like
Why?
that's a very it's just a different dynamic that has to emerge. Um, I don't know. But anyway, but I think like that adoration and like again that thing that like you have to be trustworthy and your partner has to be trustworthy. You just have to be very strong in that trustworthiness, both of you.
And
And you have to put each other on a pedestal a little bit. I
yeah,
think
and see,
that's the
like
answer that it gives.
and I think, like, that's maybe in the first half of the movie, like, they don't do that, or we're not shown them doing that, and so bothers me slightly. I don't know. I think maybe I just wanted to be like the yeah, like that dichotomy of the 2 different ways this coulda gone. Like, I think they could have leaned in both halves, like, harder to make it a little more interesting, and I think I wanted a spy movie. I wanted to see how a devoted husband would turn on his wife, and
Yeah.
that didn't happen. That's a
Yeah.
bummer.
That's fair, that's fair.
Also, I
Mhm.
think you keep saying, like, a good marriage. I don't know, man. Like, I think the other relationships we're shown are dramatically terrible. Like
Yeah, that's true.
like, the bar, super low, like, wildly verbally abusive. She stabs him at a dinner party. Like, is that like, I feel like they're trying to sell us, like, that's the norm in this world, which makes this couple so great because they're not verbally abusive and stabbing each other. Like, you know what
I
I
don't
mean?
know. I mean, they kind of okay. Yeah. I feel like I'm not able to defend them as well as I could. I see how we're coming up against like all your criticisms here because what I want to say is like, well, they do work together on this. They turn to each other, blah blah blah, but like
They
only after
don't.
he has spied on
Yes,
her for
only
a
after
while.
he's, like, lied and spied and gone behind her back.
All right. All right. Yeah, why didn't he just wait, but
Right?
now I'm actually like, did I miss something? Did we get like a one-liner explaining why he did all that?
I think I think if I had to guess, it's supposed to be explained away by the idea that he wants to help her.
Right. So like maybe she did do these things, but even if so,
And
he's on her side.
he's trying to figure it out to then help her, maybe to help her without her knowing or whatever, but I don't buy it. I think that's kind of
Yeah.
lame.
Yeah, it doesn't make a ton of sense.
No, it
No.
doesn't. Like,
No.
even like, these are like top tier spies. He's found a movie ticket, invited her to the movie, and then is watching her reactions to see if she's reacting like she's never seen it. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, like, you see what I mean? Like, there's just something.
Yeah, it's not solid, but if you want
Yeah.
to
If you want to lean into it, be my guest. That's why I said, like, it is entertaining.
yeah. Yeah.
It is entertaining. I just feel like it's one of those movies that, like, it is entertaining. I enjoyed it. It could have been really, really good. It could have
Yeah.
been really, really intriguing had they done some of these plot points a little better, maybe flushed it out a little more and given it a different score.
Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm. All right. Can we talk about some of the things that I think we agree that do work, which is like the style of it and the whole
Yes.
did you get kind
Yes.
of a 70s vibe? Was I
70s.
just like the like
Oh,
flowy kind of clothes and the I don't know, maybe I'm just
I read Future.
future, say more.
Uh, I feel like I've seen those flowy clothes and like the very tailored, like, masculine looks in a lot of like future movies where like people are in space, and like the way their house was set up with like the glass walls with the tree coming in the middle, like, to me it read very much like, I have a note that says like, couples like this are so weird, like, rich couples with no kids, like, everything is very stylized and like
Mm,
gothic and over the top. Like, why is she wearing this basically like drapery shirt? Beautiful, beautiful. And he's like, has a fleck of whatever on his shirt. And he's like, I gotta change. Like,
yeah.
it's so buttoned up
I was
and
watching a
so serious. And I feel like the 70s was wild and fun and like organic and flowy. And this is very like,
him,
um,
yeah.
sterile,
You know what though?
like
What
space.
I was watching it with Eric, and in the scene where he's cooking, Eric's like, "Oh, that's very risky cooking with a white shirt."
And then he messes on his shirt. Anyways, no, I didn't read 70s. You read 70s though.
I read 70s. I think in like the kind of
Mm.
earth tones,
Okay, yeah.
and some of the cuts. There were a few like pants with a little bit of flair.
Yeah. All these like these deep browns, like her hair bleeding into the like
Mm-hmm.
taupe beigey
Yeah.
shirts. And yeah, the flowing of her hair and the shirt and then the pants. So I see, okay, I see what you're saying. Like,
And I think some 70s aesthetic is like very bright and like very
mhm.
primary colors. But I think there's also a version of it like the uh, that's like very warm, that
Yeah,
kind of very
like
warm tone,
earthy.
like the
Mhm.
earthiness of it. And like this movie was just so, especially in their home, very warmly lit, very warm
Mhm.
tones, like balanced out with a little bit of cool, a little bit of green, like that kind of like, rich green. I loved the colors in this movie.
I know, I
I
was
did.
the sets and the styling of the characters and the colors and all of those things was very slick, very thought out, very purposeful. Like, even the heavy glasses,
Mm.
I loved his heavy glasses for some reason.
Mm.
Like, this is a serious person. Like, he is not whimsical.
Yeah.
He is wearing heavy glasses. I don't know. I was going to say, do you think this movie would have been more interesting or not, or doesn't matter actually, because they didn't really use technology that much? Like, I feel like it could have taken place in the 80s, 90s, 70s. The idea of like cell phones weren't really a feature. Like aside from the satellite stuff, there wasn't much tech involved.
That's right. I mean, there were the drones, the satellite, like the spy tech.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
you're
not
right. And maybe that's also what contributed to the kind of retro
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
feeling.
Like I feel like they could have made a few changes and they could have easily set this in like the 80s. And like, to be honest, that would have been very interesting for some reason.
Oh, I love that idea.
Right? Like, it would have been better.
Ooh.
I don't know why I feel like it would have been better, but I think it would have been better. Because you know why?
Why?
Because you have to rely on people more because the tech isn't there. So like they'd have to, like, that idea of trust and them trusting each other would be like really tight.
Yeah, I also like my first thought was it would like untether them from this thing where, you know, he's being set up through this satellite, blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
And they could maybe, you know, it would give them a, you know, they would have to figure something else out.
Yeah.
Whatever. The 70s is also a good setting for crime. Like, I feel like most sort of period movies that are set in the 70s are crime movies. I feel like a lot of movies set in the 70s have that mix of like fun criminal stuff.
Yeah.
And the kind of dark broodiness of that time. I don't know. I feel like that could be a good era for this.
Yeah, I think so. Like when I think about him, the scenes when he's fishing,
yeah,
like those really stand out to me as being very like old school.
And I think he is kind of stylized on an older
Model
generation of like English gentlemen, right? Yeah. Apparently, according to Eric, Pierce Brosnan's some of his wardrobe where he had, I might get this wrong, a double-breasted like jacket plus a vest underneath. Apparently that's overkill and he didn't need the vest. So
says Eric.
But just to say that, like, yeah, this kind of older this is not like your Silicon Valley tech startup, like bros showing up in shorts kind of a situation. This is like your like, English gentleman.
Yes, old school. I love that Pierce Brosnan was in this, by the way.
Yeah.
I love Pierce Brosnan so much.
Okay. One scene that stood out and stayed with me, and one thing that I think is like truly novel and like original in this movie was the scene where Pierce Brosnan is like at a restaurant and he gets that dish of the fish and the fish is still alive as he's eating it.
I was like, what the frick is going on here?
I was like lying in bed and that haunted me. I was just like so grossed out. That is such a great marker of a villain.
I know. Like, and I think she says what he's eating is illegal, and I was dying for them to pan back to it so I could like look at it again and see how did he plan on eating this. But then they don't.
Yeah.
But yes, I know. I feel like that was very stylized for him. Like he's at this very slick, probably secretive like place to eating this illegal thing that is alive.
Yeah. I just thought like I've never seen that before. Maybe it's been used before. I don't know. But I don't think it's very common. Whereas like I think food is used so often in movies to like, you know, it's always like show different things.
Yeah.
And like I just think it's a really brilliant. I thought that was great. I thought that was perfect. Yeah. And I think this is possibly a truly original contribution to American cinema. or like or British cinema or whatever.
I know it's true because like food can say so much, and I feel like the villains are always eating rare delicacies that are illegal here and illegal there. And it's like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Or they're taking other people's food. It's such a power move when they do that.
I know.
That
I
didn't happen
know.
here.
I was going to say, though, I had 2 more comments about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
One, I love the opening sequence following him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Loved.
Also, I think
Loved.
added to the sense of like the 70s a little bit
Yeah,
with that club.
100%.
I
Yeah.
mean, not entirely, I mean, it was obviously modern in some ways, but like it still had that kind of like Studio 54 vibe a little bit, like just enough. Yeah.
Totally. And it really like it does this really good trick of like really putting you in that character.
Mm-hmm.
And
sorry,
Yeah.
just about the opening sequence. Like I like when like on the screen it says Friday.
Yes. So I was gonna say my other note is about
Yes.
the like name cards.
Yeah.
Or like the titles. I love when movies give you a nice little structure like that to
Yes.
follow. Like
Yeah.
this is all going to take place in the course of a week. And we are
Yes.
going to tell you
Yes.
as the week goes on. On that note, I found the font to be a little too whimsical.
Yeah. I guess again, like this thing of like what direction are they going?
Yes.
Yeah.
I found the font
Yeah.
to be way too whimsical.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
That's
bothered
fair.
me. I wanted like a very serious, small toned font near the bottom of the screen versus like a Friday in like slanted.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So you liked the opening sequence?
very much so.
Okay.
But I feel like it really, it's one of those that like it puts you in his character so much, and then the way the movie evolves, like we've discussed, like it takes you out of his character, and so like, But I like it was a strong open.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
with a good structure right off the hop.
Yeah, it had a lot of like really strong individual pieces.
Yeah. But all like.
Yeah. Which I mean, we watched the other. I don't know why I have such a hard time saying his name. Soderbergh.
I don't know.
Is that? I think I don't know. I don't know what this is. Yeah. What other movie of his we watched?
Logan Lucky. Yes, that movie. Great movie. Fun, whimsical, delightful. That's like the caper. Like the Ocean's 11 great little caper. Like
even though I remember feeling like with Logan Lucky, like I remember feeling like they thought they were hiring Steven Soderbergh, the director of Ocean's 11, and instead they got Steven Soderbergh, the director of Magic Mike. Like that was also I felt like I don't know, they just had like to me Ocean's 11, the fact that Ocean's 11 and Magic Mike were directed by the same director.
I know, I just realized that is crazy.
It's very strange. Like they just have like they have different
very different
pace.
Yeah.
Right? It's like a different pace. They're different. They're very different movies.
Oh,
and I felt like Logan Lucky was more like how he directed Magic Mike and less but it was a movie that was written to like an Ocean's 11.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
So I don't know. I do feel like the problems here, it seems to me, stem from the script, first of all, in the sense that like to have like the plot and the themes and the characters actually align. There's there's a kind of misalignment between those things. It's like they're so close yet so far in the end.
But is that like tonal choices though?
I think that's added to by the fact that there's also this misalignment between these two styles of spy movies that are also not meshing necessarily or not aligned as well as they might be. But I do kind of feel like the problems here start with the script.
I don't disagree, and I think it could have been saved potentially in tone and execution.
No, you know what it reminds me of? Okay, this is better than the movie that I'm about to name, but it kind of reminds me of Juror. Also a word I have a hard time with. Juror. Juror number 2, the Clint Eastwood movie that we watched. And how that, just in the sense that like there was like themes, like stuff just didn't really make sense. Like
Yes.
motivations and blah, blah, blah. And like it just didn't really make a lot of sense. And you just kind of felt like somebody wrote the script, they showed it to Clint Eastwood, and they were like, look, it's okay. Like, we're going to have some more people come and like work on the script, or we're going to put it through another draft. And Clint Eastwood was like, no, don't worry about it. I'll just make it as it is.
Yeah.
And this movie just kind of felt like it needed somebody, and maybe, you know, this, like it just needed a few more drafts. And it maybe needed somebody else to come in and do, I don't know what process would have made it work, but like it just felt like the script was not there yet.
Yeah, so I think a few things. I think I thought of Juror Number 2 as well when I watched it, as like something that was like great idea, like great concept, and just not executed. Like, and I agree with you. I feel like that one was like the writer was like, hey, here's a draft 1, and Clint Eastwood like, action. It's like, no. What I feel like though is like this one, I feel like the writing was there, and then like, okay, maybe it's not draft 1, maybe it's close to done, but then Steven Soderbergh started layering in like his soundtrack and stuff, and the writer was like, wait, like this is supposed to be like a dark thriller, and he was like, like I feel like it's the tone, it's both for me. Big time with this one. Like, yeah,
that's fair. Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Yeah, that's so funny. I was gonna say I just looked up like spy thrillers, like couple spy thrillers. I just finished watching it. It's a TV show, but The Americans is excellent.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, if you want like your couples, like a couple spy journey, but it's a TV show, right? So all the others are like action comedy, like because I think it's hard to do well.
Yeah, it is hard
like
to do
as
well.
a genre. Yeah,
In some ways it's easy because you have the tension in the relationship built in. So I'm not sure why it's hard to do well. I think what's definitely hard to do well is like a good marriage in the, like, basically what I wanted this movie to be, I think is hard to do well. But yeah, I think like a couple spy thriller where the couple are on the same side, but there's still tension. I don't know. I'm not sure how you do that. That's a hard, that's a tough ask.
Yeah,
That's a big ask.
We'll put that out there. All the writers to give that a go. Because you need like tension with what? If not within the marriage, with a villain? Is it the corporation? Is it someone they're hunting down together? But then how is that different than like partners? Like, yeah, right?
Yeah. But I think like, I mean, if this is kind of an attempt at like exploring themes of marriage, isn't that so much of the situation you find yourself in a marriage where there's like problems, but like you're on the same team?
Yes.
And there's tension, but like you're on the same team. Ideal, you know, that's, you know, you're kind of striving for that.
And like tension and how to navigate like those challenges.
Right?
Like that's where the tension comes from.
Right? Yeah. Like how do you make decisions together and all of that, right? I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's actually not, it's not that, I want to say it's not that hard, but obviously it is.
I know. I was like, I dare you to finish your sentence.
I feel like you can write a movie in which like a marriage is kind of pushed to the edge from the stresses of both being spies. I mean, that's not that hard without them being against each other. That's not such a crazy idea. Like that's not.
I was going to say, you know, like where that is interesting, would be interesting if they had like ops that were against each other, or like contradictory goals, but like the same. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like we're both running this off, but like you're supposed to save something and I'm supposed to destroy it or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And like maybe that comes from like spy movies if they're in different agencies or whatever. Then why would they be married? I don't know.
Yeah, I think like if they're within the same agency,
Why would they have contradictory?
But then that's where you can have like the kind of conspiracy stuff come
Oh,
in, right?
yes.
Where
Different
one
security
of the teams,
clearances.
oh, for sure, like, or like one of the teams has gone rogue and they don't know.
Ooh.
Like they're kind of being pulled along by like a boss who has like some crazy plan and they don't,
Yeah.
they don't know. Or like, okay, this isn't exact, but oh God, I can't remember the name again. So sad. The Gene Hackman, Denzel Washington on a sub
The sub.
mutiny. It's not called The Sub.
The sub. Ah.
Sum of All Fear. No.
No,
That's,
and not Hunt for Red October. It's
no.
Crimson Tide.
Crimson Tide.
Crimson Tide. Yes,
Like
another.
in the way that like there you have two people where like one is the hero and one is the villain for sure. But like, I mean, it gets complicated with that one. Maybe this isn't a good analogy. But my point is that like one is wrong and one is right in the end. But you can see both sides of it. Even though like Denzel Washington is like,
So are you saying like
but
that
like
movie would check this box for you if they were a married couple?
no, that would be insane.
Okay.
No, that would be way over the top. I guess just in the way that like you can have tension, you can have like tension between characters without, and one of them being a villain without one of them being like mustache twirling.
Yeah, like
bad
totally.
intent. Yeah,
Like you could have but you could have like two people on opposing sides and just like have differing opinions about like the morally correct.
Yeah,
like
about what the right
way to
course of
go.
action is.
Yeah,
and isn't
that's
that
where you could get tension.
And doesn't that happen in marriages all the time?
Yeah.
So just put that in a spy thriller.
I love that
guess.
you're like you just want like I love how badly you want like
do.
not
Now
like a
that this is-
rom-com but like a solid romantic like spy movie. I don't know why you want to throw like everyday marriages suffer under the tension of just normal life.
Yeah.
And you just want to throw sticks of dynamite of spyness.
This is why you can't have kids. I was so glad that they didn't have kids in this movie. I
know
thought
you
that
kept
was a good
saying, like,
choice.
the dynamic changes completely. Why do you think that?
I think that their dynamic does not make sense with kids because their dynamic is one where each of them comes first.
Yeah.
That does not apply when you have
No.
kids.
Mm-mm.
It's like I think if there were kids in this movie, like even if they were adult children or whatever, they would be just so like they would have to be just like such afterthoughts that I'm glad they just didn't do it at all. So,
Yeah, I don't disagree.
yeah. Anyway, bam.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah,
It was fine.
it was good. It was all right.
It
It was
fine.
okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was
Anyway,
good.
yeah.
This movie, Black Bag, was very highly rated on Rotten Tomatoes by critics.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, but not by viewers.
Interesting.
Not super. It was like fine. It was like medium. One of
Right.
the reviews I read that locked the choice because you said you were in the mood for like something that was like fine. Was like, someone's review was like it was good but not great. I was like great.
You know what? This I feel like goes to my what I said at the beginning, which is it feels like watching it, like the experience of watching the movie was like good, but like you could write an essay about this movie because of like the themes and the blah blah blah, all of this kind of stuff. Like the lighting, like all of these kind of textual elements are there. So the element, what you could write about it is richer than the experience of watching it. I feel like what you're saying about critical versus audience score.
I know. I had one more
validates that.
thought, but if we've passed it, it's fine.
No.
I wanted to ask your opinion of the ending where like someone dies, like they shoot what's his face, because it just seemed like tonally very different than the rest of the movie. But I loved when the woman was like, "There's a new rug." I was like, someone's gonna get shot.
I mean, I feel like they've set up somebody to like they've introduced guns. They've talked about like, oh, we're playing a game. Oh, is there going to be blood? Well, if we do it right, or is it going to be messy?
It was like too whimsical though. I thought, I don't know. I felt like more of a strangling would be appropriate.
Oh God, strangling is so dark.
I know. And more like tonally. I just really wanted a dark spy thriller, I think, with like
Yeah.
under the cover of darkness stranglings.
I wonder if maybe it's a similar thing that happened with like that point where they turned to each other, and we were saying that could have been such a turning point, or it could have been much more impactful
Yeah, it just wasn't
if the
as
tension had built up.
Yeah.
And I wonder if we had gotten to that point where Blanchett shoots him, and like I felt like I understood better what happened. Like if it might have been, but I don't know. No, I will say I did find that moment to be like pretty punchy.
That's fair. I guess I like a secret spy. Like he leaves thinking he's got away with it or something, and then he ends up like with a bag over his head.
Yeah.
In the boot of a car, like she says.
Yeah, I feel like this works well with the element of this movie that it's written like a play.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right? But again, it's kind of like it oscillates between that and not being that.
It was just like loud and in your face when a lot of the movies like a little more subtle.
Yeah, which is why I think it kind of like it was punchy.
Yeah,
I don't know. Fair. I was into it, and I
you
think
were okay.
Like,
okay, yeah,
yeah. I will stand by that moment. I think
okay.
Also, the young woman who's had nothing to do with the actual conspiracy plot, whatever, her reaction of just total shock, I think kind of helped
that.
To highlight it, I guess. Yeah.
I did like that a lot. I like the juxtaposition, I think, of like her treating a lot of this as a game with and forgetting maybe like you're in this dangerous world.
Right. Yeah.
And so I did like that feature.
What did you think of the therapist character?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I like feel like there could have been more depth there maybe. Because to your point, like her role in all of this, like I think I understand it, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I feel like
I don't buy it.
I feel like having a therapist, like having these people go to therapy sessions, I think it can be very corny, and it didn't lean into that, and it didn't overcome it. So it didn't feel super corny or super campy or super, but it just kind of felt like cliche, I guess. I don't know.
I know.
Not super interesting.
I had this thought, I think, when one of them is in a session, maybe Cate Blanchett, because they've painted certain characters as being like really, really good, right? Like very smart, very intelligent, very crafty. When Cate Blanchett is in there with her, I'm like, you're not good enough to like to be working with. Like, I just feel they didn't make her strong enough as like a presence,
right,
to overcome. Yeah, to your point, like they didn't overcome this idea that this person should be there to be doing these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what do you feel like next?
Well, it's my pick, so I feel like I should ask you. No, I should ask you because I need to take it into consideration when I choose the movie. What are you in the mood for?
I feel like this is one of those situations where I signed up for like a certain genre and I didn't get my fill, but that is fine and we can move on.
But I mean, would you be into like a spy thriller that is actually a spy thriller?
Very much so.
Okay. That's good. Thanks for joining us here at Popcorn Moms. If you like what you heard, we'd really appreciate your support. Subscribe to the show, rate and review us, and most importantly, share it with someone you know. Thanks for listening.